Hello, happy traders. How are you doing out there? We'll get started. Looks like about 5 minutes, okay? So we're just getting all set up here. All right, we'll get started about 4 minutes. If you're just tuning in or you're watching the recording, you can always fast forward. We start at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Welcome all you happy traders out there. We'll be starting in about 3 minutes. All right, you guys ready to get started today? All right, let me just, a few quick things before we get going here. First thing I just wanted to mention, of course, is that, the chat area on YouTube, far right-hand side, definitely use that. Type in all your picks that you want me to look at for this week in caps, okay? That's really helpful. All right, so let me know who's out there. As you come in, just say hello, whatever you want to do out there. Let me just go through a few administrational items, the usual stuff I got to go through. Of course, we want you to like, subscribe, and share. I think because you're here, you've already done that. But definitely spread the word around. We're trying to build the channel. And basically, this presentation each and every Friday, of course, is done for about a half an hour duration. And the purpose of this is really for you to bring your stocks and have us take a look at it, and we can take a look at where the stop should be, where the target zone could be. So it kind of will give you a little bit of a second opinion on what you may be in already or considering to go in. And then, of course, the other thing, too, is that the more people that come, the more people share their opportunities, their stock opportunities, so it almost becomes a stock picking service as well. So a couple of different little benefits there, but it all starts with liking and subscribing and sharing. Now, we all know there's risks involved in trading, and of course that is very true in investments as well, but short-term trading as well, whether it's futures, stocks, whatever you trade in, forex, there is risk involved in it. Definitely make sure you have money you can afford to risk, called risk capital when trading the markets. Check with your money manager, financial advisor, and make sure that anything that you do in the markets, whether it's something you pick up here or somewhere else, make sure you run it by them just to be sure it's suitable for you. We don't know your personal situation, and of course they do, so they're a good one to check with just to make sure everything is okay on your end. Also, too, know how to do risk control, and good idea to know how to do entries and exits for timing, of course. Now, if you're new here or new to us, definitely check out, I've written a number of books that are available on all the major bookstores, including Amazon. First book I recommend is A Trader's Money Management System. That's kind of like the seatbelt on your car. You don't want to start driving until you have the seatbelt, right? Same thing with trading. You have to have good money management before you really start going. So that's a great book to get, and then my other books are on different forms of technical analysis. Now, when we look at charts here, you're going to see me use a variety of different charting tools here that we have at traderscoach.com. We call it the Ultimate Trading System. And we have scanners, we have charting software, and you're going to I'm going to show you how we use this stuff when we look at picks, so you'll kind of pick it up on your own. But also, too, you'll be able to tell if you want more information on it from our website, so you can just go there. So that's definitely available for you. All right, so I want to thank everybody for attending today. The more we get here, the better. Good to have you here, and let's go ahead and get going. All right, so I'm going to start out. Go ahead and put in any stock picks you want. Just type them in caps. Hello, Stuart. How are you? Good to have you here. First one I'm going to start out with is GBTC. Now, GBTC is the ETF for crypto, all right? And it is sold off this week, so we want to take a look at that, and we want to show you kind of what's going on with that. And as you know, when we looked at it last week, we did not suggest getting into it until this move down is over. Well, it's not over yet. It's still moving down, so we got to be careful on that. Now, also too, if you're new here and you're kind of not familiar with my chart setup, on the left-hand side, I have a 60-minute chart. So this is a great chart for the short-term look when I'm ever looking at a market. And then on the center chart, I have the daily chart. That's a great chart to look for the intermediate trend. And then on the far right, I have the weekly chart, which is great for the long-term trend. Now the three charts are all of the same symbol. So we're taking a look at the short-term, intermediate, and long-term aspect of the stock we're analyzing. And what we have found is this is a great way to improve your timing and also trade with the underlying strengths of these different time frames. All right, so let's take a quick look at GBTC. I'm just going to open this up here. I've got a couple I want to look at. I want to look at silver. I want to look at gold. And then, Ray, I'll look at yours. I see yours is up there, so we'll get to all those today. All right, so GBTC. All right, so it ran up very close to its target. Now, if you're an Elliott wave person, this would be a 3, 4, and we're looking at a 5 target zone roughly right in here. All right, we came darn close, but didn't quite hit it. Now, we sold off. We're out of the market. We don't want to go back in yet. We have a red momentum over here. This is the owl indicator. This is one of our indicators that measures not only Elliott wave, but the current momentum. So it's turned bearish, and it hasn't done that in quite a while. The other thing, too, is this pyramid trading point has been exceeded. So you got to be out. That's the time to get out. This is still green. This PTF is still green. So what that is still saying is that, okay, after this comes down, it's going to bottom at some point, then you may want to go long again. All right? Okay. So the longer term aspect is still that we probably are going to go back into the target zone. But this draft down has been pretty extensive. And of course, if you were trading the daily time frame, you would have been out a long time ago. But notice you have pyramids facing down, bearish here. So this trend is down. This current trend for the last month is down. And so you don't want to go near this thing for a long trade yet. Same thing with the 60-minute time frame. Still going down. And if you remember last week, we were telling you if you're in it, use that stop on the weekly chart over here. And if you're not in it, don't go in it. And I think that was probably pretty good advice, okay? All right, let's take a look at gold here real quick. All right, gold's been kind of wishy-washy. Now, I'm going to open up the weekly chart on gold here. And we're going to go back quite a ways. Take a look at the long-term aspect. So again, Elliott wave person, that's a 3. This is looking like a 4. And 5 target zone somewhere up in there. So we got a green PTF, so it looks like we're going higher. We had one move up, a little bit of a pullback. This is probably a 3 inside of 5 if you're into the waves with inside the waves. So we're probably going to perk back up. All right, so long position possibly in gold, but let's see if the timing is right now. And right away I can tell you no, because of the fact that this is still red here. This PTF is calling, and it has a 75% accuracy, calling for more lows beyond this low. So in terms of waiting, I want to wait it out. I want to wait until this is either yellow or green, and it's only going to turn yellow if it takes out that low, and the momentum is not strong enough to keep it red. So that's kind of where we're at now. So in terms of timing, okay, long-term aspect looks good for a long trade. Short-term, not so good. Okay, so we're going to got to stay out of that for a little while. All right, now silver. One last one, and then we'll jump on all the others here. And the reason I like to cover these is these are pretty popular, and I think people are looking at some of these. They're in the news a lot, so people are kind of looking at these. Now, a lot of people on YouTube that we're recommending this around the $26 time frame, and it's at $20.48. If you remember back in those areas too, we were telling you not to go in it yet because of this bad boy right there. Now we got this bad boy over here, so we still don't want to go into it at this point. Will it be good to go in at some point? Sure. All right, I think it probably will get back up into the 30s at some point. But right now, it's still kind of consolidating and moving down. So I would stay out of silver and just keep coming back every week, and when we get the go signal, you'll know. Okay? All right, Ray, let's take a look at yours here. PINS. Okay. So, Ray, I don't know what you're doing with this one here, but let's take a look and see. So we've got a big move down on this one. Not much history either. So basically up and down. This is retraced too far to probably be a normal wave 4. So maybe it's a 2, maybe a 1-2. Next time it goes up, the owl may be so high that this reverts over to here for a wave 3. But that's, neither here nor there right now. So are you going to go long on this? Not yet. If you're short on this, okay. All right, your stop should probably be here if it's a long-term position. Let's see what the weekly, the daily chart rather shows. Okay, so you had a little bit of a movement up, but then more selling came back in with more pyramids. So you're still moving down. All right, we may be close to a bottom because this is still green at this point, but and we're starting to see bullish divergence in the momentum, but it hasn't quite bottomed yet. So I would hold off on this a little while longer. We have a yellow PTF on the 60-minute where we used to have a red one, so that's an indication that the momentum is moderating to the downside. All right, so if you're short on this one and you want to know where you should put a stop, well, you have two places. You have actually a couple. One here or one here, depending on what time frame you want to choose for your stops. Okay, so that is PINS. So I would not buy here. I would wait a little longer for things to turn around. The trend is technically still down on that. Let's take a look at LSPD. All right. Definitely movement down here as well. Okay, let's open up this one here. So you had probably, again, these are interesting because there's not much history with these. So what we want to do here right away is let's see if this retracement here, yeah, you see that's very excessive. That's not a wave 4. It cannot be a wave 4 there. So that has to be some form of wave 2. And wave 2s are nasty. They can come all the way down. So at this particular point, it'd be interesting to see if this bottom holds. All right, we do have a green PTF, but that's very close to changing to red. And we have a huge momentum to the downside. So I would not take a long position at this for sure right now. And take a look at this. That's bearish as anything. I mean, if anything, these short trades on the pyramids would have worked out great. You know, we had long trades here on the pyramids. You would have been stopped out at a nice area at the top. All right, and then get ready to go short. All right, so that's got some more movement down on both those, okay? All right, let's take a look at PayPal. PY, if I can put that in right, PYPL. And let's see what we got there. Let that load. PYPL, I think I put that in wrong. PYPL, not oh well. Let's try that. Okay, so here we are with this. All right, so Stuart, what are you doing with this one? Are you long, short? Thinking about going long? In any case, let's open her up and take a look here. Okay, so you've had a nice movement down. So this is a pretty nice, clean chart here. So if we look at this, let's do an Elliott wave retracement here. So kind of going up around here. It's pretty much here. So you're smack in the wave 4 target zone right here. All right, this is still red, so it's not quite done with wave 4. All right, you're going to come down some more at this particular point. Now, if you were long on the art software, you would have been out already. All right, but if your intentions are to hold this to the next high up here, then you've got to hold it during the correction, and it sounds like that's maybe what you're doing. So in this case here, it's going to go down further. It's not done coming down. And you can see here on the daily, same thing. We may have a little bit of a retracement up to, oh, I don't know, maybe 240 before it heads back down. So for those of you thinking about going long on this one, this could be a good long one later on, but not right now. Okay, so let's keep that in the back pocket. I'm going to write that one down because this one should go on people's watch list because this is not a bad one to think about for later on, okay? All right, let's see what else we got cooking here. All right, so that's PayPal. Let's see about, Verizon. Let's see what's cooking on that one. All right, let me open up that weekly chart here. Okay, so you've had a beautiful run up on Verizon. A little toppy, okay, right now. Now, you've had a break here. Is this a wave 3? Certainly, possibly could be, because now we've had a red owl. That owl has to be red for wave 4. So that's kind of where I think we're at now. Let's take a quick look here and see what the possibilities is. We're going to have to look at the lower time frames as well. But let's take a quick look here. Let's grab some fib retracements and run those from here to here. All right, so hasn't reached this area here. This area here does not count at this particular point, but this one does. So worst case scenario here, I don't think this was a major 4. Could be. So if that's the case, that would be a 5, and then we're going way down. So I would say right now, let's count on this being a 3 going into a 4. And let's see what the smaller time frames show us. All right, so you're getting a little bit of a rebound here right now. So if you were short the market, you would have been out at a profit, but at this particular point here, that's an NP, not a P. So this one here is not as clear as I'd like it to be. All right, so I would definitely stay away from this one. There's a lot better ones than this at this point. Now, if it gets back into the target zone here, then that'll solidify things for a better picture. But right now, we could make one more high, or we could sell off. So it's not very clear. All right, good. Let's take a look at Snap. Joe, how are you? All right, so Snap, let's take a look. All right, so it looks like, a variety of things are pulling back right now, right? I think we can all see that. Snap, not as much history, but we certainly have a wave 3. That's kind of a pretty clear wave 3, so I'm loving that. Let's draw a fib retracement on this bad boy and see where we are here. Let's grab it from here to here. We're smacking that target zone. So that's a good thing, all right? We kind of, are looking now, if we want to go long again, all right, we wanted this thing to come down here first, and it did it. So now we got to wait for some bullish momentum to come back in before jumping on the wave 5 train, right? Which will end somewhere up in here. So let's see how that's kind of doing. We still have a pretty strong bearish owl here. So that's going to keep me out of the market because that's showing me that things have not really turned around. And if you look at the daily chart here, you can see a bunch of pyramids in a row. We do have bullish divergence, okay, so that's good. So maybe we're getting close to the bottom in that target zone. But the trend is still down. So we're still heading down. So that's got to turn around. And as you can see on the 60-minute chart over here, that this one here is still got a lot of red. So we're not quite done with the downtrend. But I got to tell you, that could be one also to put on your watch list and keep an eye on it, because when the momentum turns around, I think you're going to want to take a long trade on that to the upside. All right, and that's Snap. All right, let's take a look at CCXI. CCXI. All right, CCXI. All right, well, we have a bullish PTF now on the weekly chart. Let's go ahead and open that one up here. All right, we had a huge move down. All right, classic. 1, 2. That can't be a 4. All right, so now we're going to be moving probably back up, and that's what that is saying here. You had a pyramid trading point entry here already, so you could be long on that based on this price bar over here. And at that particular point, notice the owl had turned, and so did the PTF. So, good long trade. And if these yellow ones here turn green when they're confirmed, you'll be able to move your stop up to here. But for right now, let's take a look and see. All right, so let's go over here and see this bad boy on the daily time frame again. Nice early entry back in this area here, and there you have it. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. I'd stay long with it. You got the PTFs are all green on this. So this one is a lot better than the other ones. Okay, so this is okay. All right, Al, B-A-V-A, how are you doing? Okay, we'll program that with baby in there. All right, Baba. All right, so Baba's coming down. I mean, you got the pyramids showing pretty abrupt movement down. Pretty far down, too. Pretty far down. So that's a little concerning, I would say, at this particular point. I would say that's probably a little too far down for wave 4, right? Grab the fibs. Blew right by it. So that's not a 4. That could be a 2. And again, not much history on this one. Goes back to 2015 in the realm of stocks. Believe it or not, that's really not that much. All right, but anyway, downtrend for sure. Negative momentum. You don't want to be long here at all. All right, if anything, short, but it's kind of the short area here. The short trade was a long time ago. So in this case here, you don't want to be short unless you were already short. it's too late to get short for a new position. But if you're long, you kind of don't want to be long here. You should have been out already. All right? So this is not one I would recommend either way. That's BABA. All right, let's take a look at BYND. Boy, these are great. You guys are doing super. All right, let's take a look at this one. Not much history on this bad boy either. Everything's down, okay? Notice the chart here. You got bearishness on the daily, bearishness on the weekly, and a little bit of an uptick on the short 60-minute time frame, but not significant enough yet to warrant an entry on this. So here's what I would do on this. I would not go long on this. I mean, look at the number of pyramids in a row. What a beautiful down trade, short trade that would have been. So what do you do now? Well, here's the problem. You still have this red here. So even if you get a pop off here and you want to go long, it's only going to probably be a retracement trade, because this is still red, meaning that any movement up is temporary. It's a correction in a movement that still is probably going to move down. So I'd be careful on that one, all right? That's BYND. I wouldn't take that to the long side, and if I was short right now and I wanted to use the daily chart, I would have been just stopped out, okay? So that's kind of how I would do that. All right, Frank, how are you? SDOW. Got all my happy traders in here. Gotta love it. All right, Sue, let's see what we got here. Frank, you love these inverse ETFs on the Dow. He loves these and he loves the QQQs. All right, so what do we do with this bad boy? Well, you still got a red owl on the daily chart, weekly chart, but you do have a green PTF. Problem is, if we open this bad boy up, all right, I think it might be a little too soon to enter this, because of the fact you still have a bearish active pyramid. All right? So this is getting close to a bottom, and obviously if we think the Dow is close to a top, then this will come into sync beautifully. But for right now, it's not a go for a long position. Okay, you got to wait that one out. All right, let's keep going here. QQQ. I love the Qs. You guys been around when the QQQ used to be the QQQQ? They used to have 4 Qs, and they brought it back to the Qs, 3 Qs. Man, talk about complicated. All right, so on this one here, we've had a nice run up, no question about it. Let's open up this weekly chart. Check that out. Boom. All right. So, you know, here's a situation where you still have quite a bit of positive momentum. So that has not left the market yet. All right, we have a little bearish divergence building in here, but that can last a long time. So, what do you do? Well, all right, if you're in anything now, you stay with the trend, right? Every stock that you're in will have its own set of pyramids, its own set of indicators, and so forth. If you're in this now, if we go below this point here, then that's going to be probably a sign that we're going into a major correction. So we'll just keep an eye on it. All right. Until then, stay with it. All right. Same thing with the daily charts. We're starting to see a little bit of movement down, and we're seeing bearishness on the 60. So we may get down there, but we may not. It may just go down a little bit further and turn around. So just stay with it until those support levels have been hit. Now, if you're trading on the daily chart using the QQQ, you'd be out already, okay? And you'd be contemplating possibly a short position, but not with this much bullishness on the weekly. So I would, at this point, just be out flat and wait to see what happens. All right, let's keep going here. VT in ARC. All right. Here's another one. Let's take a look at this pullback here. So here's another one, okay? Big move up way back in 2000, a long time ago. Now it spiked again and then moved up. Now, what's interesting with this is, notice back in here, the PTF turned green. So that had a 75% probability we're going higher than that. And we did, over here. Had to wait a while, but it did it, okay? This is a long-term chart, too. So then it stayed green, which means it's going higher, okay? And it did it. And then it got way up here at 14, and it's still green. So every time it's made a peak, a new high, the momentum was strong enough to keep the PTF green, okay? So that's pretty powerful. So what do you do with this now? All right, well, you have a bearish pyramid here. All right, I would be looking for a long position at some point, but not now. All right, it's pulling back. It hasn't done with its pullback, and so that's kind of where you're at. Now, if you were using the pyramids, okay, on this, you could have gotten in under $2, and you probably would have been out at almost 7. Okay, you could have scaled out as well, but that's kind of where where that's at. So that's the weekly chart. Let's take a look at this one and see. All right, so the daily chart's a little bit better in that we're seeing some bullish momentum come in and maybe a bottoming here. Okay, so that's a 3, 4, and moving back up there possibly. Okay, not bad. All right, so let's just see what we got here on that. Yeah, so that may be, we may be in the beginning of a turnaround. All right, it's a little too soon to say. We have not gotten a bullish pyramid on the daily chart, so we're still waiting for that. So let's make sure we take a look at this one next week, okay? FTNR. And we have bullishness coming in on the 60 minutes. So let's see if this bullishness that's coming in stays with it. And if it comes up here, pulls back, and goes in, we may get a pyramid to go long. And I would consider that, okay? Because by then, the momentum that happens should be a lot more positive on the weekly chart. Okay, so I'm liking that. Just wait, not quite yet. FTNR. All right, let's take a look at CDEV. And this one is for Ralph. All right, so bullishness came back after the big move down in 2001. So 2001, it's been bullish. All right, we're seeing a little bit of divergence here, no longer green here. So we got to be a little careful here because let's take a look. Not much history. So here's the thing with this. Is this a bottom? I mean, it's right at 0. Okay, certainly could be. All right. Just not exactly sure where the target is. Because what happens if we get this? What happens if we just get a retracement from here to here? It might only go up another couple bucks to 9 or 14. All right, and then settle back down. Hard to say. Excuse me. So it's not one of my favorites. All right, the bullish on the 60-minute is a good sign that it's probably going to go a little higher. So I would, if you're long on this, I would be adhere to your stops once we get into that target zone, okay? Just be careful on that. And that is CDEV. Not one of my favorites, okay, but not too bad. Okay, so I'll say not in bad. Okay, good. All right, let's take a look for White Lion here. Let's take a look at C for Citibank. All right, what do you got cooking on this bad boy? All right, so roly-poly stock, just like all the banks. Bank of America, same way. Okay, they're all roly-poly. All right, so on this one here, we have a green PTF. So we have probably more highs coming at some point here, but we have bearish momentum. All right, we did have a bullish bar come in recently, so let's see what happens with that. So hard to say on this one right now in terms of we still have an active bearish pyramid, so that's kind of in place there. So that has to be taken out before we can get an opportunity for a long trade. So again, not one of my favorites because even if it's a PTF, the high is 80. The question is, when will we be able to get in on that? If you're in already, then you want your stop probably under this MP right here. But you still have a fairly bearish momentum, so that's the only thing that's making me think twice on that. All right, but let's see. All right, and VIAC. Let's take a look at this bad boy. All right, so VIAC looks like it was bottoming here and turning up, but then this. All right, so you got a bearish PTF. So you may get a retracement. You could get a retracement up to here and then another move back to the downside. Very possible. So if you wanted to take that trade based on that situation, meaning it's a fib. But I don't like the fact that that is red. All right, it's kind of showing me that the correction is to the downside is not over yet. So that's the only thing that would keep me out of this right now, VIAC. All right, NW. Let me just make sure, NWA. All right, NWA. All right, so if we were trading this to the long side, we would have been stopped out a long time ago, obviously. And you've got a red PTF here, so you're probably coming back down quite a bit. So this thing's going to come and sell off, should sell off quite a bit. Won't go in a straight line, but it looks like it probably will come down quite a bit more. So that's NWA. And then PNR. So you're short on that one, white line, that's good, okay, and PNR, you're short here. PNR, I would not be short here, okay, simply because of all the green PTFs. All right, we've had a big run up. It looks like it's starting to consolidate, so this thing may come back down into the 50s. However, all right, this is green here, which indicates the intermediate pressure will be more for a rebound to the upside before it does that, if it does that. So I wouldn't take that. I would not be long that. All right, let's do, it looks like one more we got here, SSP. This is for Raul. SSP. All right, so SSP, we've got a bullish PTF on both the daily and the weekly. Let's open up that weekly time frame. All right, so there we are there. All right, nice little move down here. Let me just take a look at that fib retracement area here. See, it hit the target zone. Not too shabby. Okay, not too bad at all. Let's try it if the target zone was here. Same. Okay, so that's good. Okay, that's a good sign. One dot connected, and it looks bullish in this. It's coming back in. We got rid of the bearish pyramid on the daily, and we've got green momentum. So I think that looks pretty good. So if you took a long trade on this at this point, put your stop. I would put your stop as far down as you could to give you enough room. Because here's the problem. When you have a movement off here, you usually get a pretty good retracement. Now, we may have had it, and that may be it, and it will take off. Could. But it also could be something like this, and then it goes. So the further down you can put your stop, the more you're going to ensure success on this trade. But I do like it for a long trade, okay? I do like it for that. All right, last one here is KDNY. Let's take a look at that one today. I think I got through all of them, didn't I? I think I did. All right, KDNY. All right, a little bit of a messy chart, a lot up, a lot of down. Let's see what we got on the weekly. All right, big move down, consolidating. So here's my concern here about doing anything with this. I'd keep this on a watch list, but you don't want to get stuck in this because that's basically not doing much, and your money is just going to kind of like sit there, right? So you don't want to do that. So it hasn't broken out enough for a trade yet. Let's take a look here. Same thing here. It's kind of a messy because you got movement down on the 60 because there's an active bearish pyramid. You've had this pyramid taken out. So I think I would really wait for this to try to get over this consolidation. So let it break above here before really considering a long trade. Okay? That's how I would kind of do that. All right, let's do one more here. HYG. All right, so definitely bearish PTFs on all the time frames, okay, for sure. No longer any active pyramids, so you wouldn't have taken these anyway because it's all within a bearish move down. So it looks like we're going to head back down. All right, now if you want to go short now, let's take a look at the daily chart. So you got a green owl on the daily, so you want to wait for that to turn red. Okay, so this has got to go red first. You got red here, you got red here, so that's kind of where you're at there. So yeah, short would be okay here. Just wait a little bit longer for that momentum to roll fully over. Cool. SAVA, let's take a look at that one. All right, SAVA. All right, really nice PTF on the weekly chart and also on the daily chart. Okay, so this one I'm liking. All right, this one also too has retraced a lot. Bottom, took out the bottom, another bottom. Good sign. No red here. This is still pretty deep. This is still red, but bullish divergence, and this is good. So here's how I would play this. I would get ready to go long on this one, but I would probably wait for a pyramid to the long side. I just don't want to get caught in the sideways motion, okay? The bearish pyramid's already been stopped out, so that's not a problem. But I just don't want to be sitting there. I'd rather have a bullish pyramid because that's going to get me into the timing a lot better. So I like this one for the long trade. This is a good one. This should go on your watch list. You might even be in that within the next week or two. Okay? And if you're long now already, you happen to be long now, then keep your stop as low as you can under here. Because if that's a bottom, you'll be in good shape. Okay? All right. Well, I think I got them. I went through all of them. What a fun day that was. You guys are awesome, man. Good picks for today. All right. What do you think? Which one's the best? What do you think, guys? We got a couple. We had this one, SAVA. A lot on the watch list. I don't think there was too many I would take right away. I got VTNA or something. Snap was not bad. PayPal. All possible watch lists, right? So we'll see how those play out. All right, well, listen, Happy New Year to everybody. Have a great week, and we'll be back next Friday. So bring these back, and we'll take a look and see. Some of these are getting close, so we'll take a look. All right, thanks so much, everybody. Bye-bye. My pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Really super. I'll put a little music on here.